All right. In today's video, we're going out to the garage, put on some old clothes and get sweaty out there because it's hot again. And we're going to look at a couple of large boxes that we're going to unpack in there. So both items that we're going to look at are for installation on the truck bed itself. And we're going to unpack everything, kind of go through it, look at the quality, look how it's packed, just to get an idea of how these things are actually shipped over here, and to make sure that there's no damage to any of those parts, of course. And then once we have unpacked those boxes, then we're going to install them. Each of those items will get an individual video. So there's going to be one video for box 1 and then a separate video for box 2. And those installation videos will be coming up as soon as I have installed those. And I'm going to walk you through the installation of those items and point out any issues or problems or things to keep in mind when you're doing this. So let's get to the garage. Let's put on some old clothes before we go out there. And then I will see you in the garage. So let's go. All right, made it out to the garage, and wow, these boxes look even more imposing out here. You can just tell by looking at them that they contain some serious upgrades for the truck bed. Time to see if these old bones can handle lifting them and opening them, or if I need to call in reinforcements from my wife. Let's go. So the plan is right now, I have a moving blanket on the floor. I'm going to unpack everything on that blanket to prevent things from being damaged, obviously. I'm then going to put out all the hardware and things like that on a table here. And we're going to take a look at some of the details of various items. All right, with that being said, let's get this done. I'm going to get the first box on the ground. That's going to be for the bed rack itself, not the cover. I'm going to do the cover last. That's the biggest one. It's also the one that I'm going to be assembling and installing first later on. So that's the one that I'm going to end with. I'm going to move the camera out of the way. I'm going to give you a quick overview of the setup that I have here and to show you how I want to do it and whatnot. And then once everything is unpacked, I'm going to spread everything out on the table, hardware, instruction, things like that. I'm going to read through it. And then once we're done with the unpacking, we're going to basically assemble everything on the ground and then get it installed on the truck. And then during the installation, I will most likely film that, obviously, and talk through it as we go. Anyway, let me get this camera out of the way. I'll show you the setup here and we'll take it from there. All right, let's get started with the first box. Let's move this out of the way here. These things are heavy. Oh, my back. Oh, that's what you get when you get too old. You cannot really do anything with this anymore. All right. Tilt this down. I'm assuming there's a... Let me see what the front is. Yeah, that probably looks like the front. All right. Let's get it down there. A knife. So I need a knife. Let's move it onto the blanket a little more so we can... Oh, Lord. That is not good for my back. All right, here we go. All right, there's the first glance at the pieces. Oh, that looks nice. All right, get this out. Let's see what this is. Obviously a bag with all the hardware. Very nice, numbered. Put this aside for now. Actually, I'm gonna put that on the table already. Get that ready for unpacking. All right, let's just move this out of the way a little. Ooh, wee. There we go. All right. Obviously, all the, everything is made in China nowadays, but obviously those labels need to be taken out. So So I don't see any numbers on here. I'm assuming these are the horizontal parts that connect the forward piece to the back piece. I'm just putting it out here. We're now getting an idea of what is in the box. Whew, I'm already out of breath. That's a side mount. And another side mount. All right. Again, I'm just going to put things out there until we get to... Oh, speaking of which, here's the manual. All right, so this bed is made to go, or the bed rack is meant to go on the cover. So the cover that I have is a retractable cover, so it covers the whole thing, obviously. So, like I said, what I'm going to be doing is once the bed cover is installed, I'm going to install the bed rack on top of that. So the cover has T-tracks in it, and that's where the mounting points for the bed rack installed. So, anyway, manual. Oh, I hurt my knees crack there. Move it out of the way. All right, let's get to the other side here. So I'm assuming these are the. Oh, Lord, yep, that's them. So these are the two crossbars that go on the top. Take these out as well. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of trash. All right, let's see if I can do this like that. All right, let's go. Trash. All right. Oh, nice. These also have T-slots in them as well. So that will allow you to attach all kinds of things to the top. Wow, this is nice. It's very well powder coated. It's definitely good quality, it looks like. And this one here. Yep, and I missed a piece here when they cut it. But I'm assuming that there's going to be some plastic caps to cap off the ends as well. So, all right, moving on. There's, yep, more parts here. So, another set of mounting feet. So, that one, or these will go here. And of course, I got to look at the manual to see, you know, what goes where and the hardware used and whatnot. So, another one. All right, and then here are the vertical mounting points that everything mounts to. So these are what's going to go into the T-track. Going to be mounted there. So these are marked. So left front, right. So that one goes there. And then we got another one here. This is left front, right. Wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. I'm assuming this looks like it's gonna go here actually. So it's actually left rear. I think they put the stickers on wrong. So this is left rear. Oh, that's what it is. It's left rear, right front, right? Left rear, no, I don't know, whatever. We'll figure it out. Look at the manual when it's all said and done. All right, put this down there. And then finally this one here. Oh, nice, I even got foam on it underneath it. See, there's foam under here. So this sits on the bed rail, or the T-track, I guess, on the bed rail. Very nice, I like it. Seems, you know, even though it's made in China, it seems pretty well done. And that's it. I mean, it's fairly straightforward. Obviously it's, you know, there's not a lot to a bed rack. So it's going to be fairly straightforward as far as like pieces are concerned. All right. Let's get this out of the way. And once we move this out of the way, we're going to move on to the unpacking of the bed cover itself. So what I'll do is I'll move the box out of the way, and then I'll put the parts on top of the box. Okay, so next box. This is the, well, it's upside down, but it's the SYNETIC USA bed cover. It's a holy muck. Okay, I really am getting too old for this stuff. All right, put it down this way. So what I was saying, this is the SYNETIC USA Retractable Bed cover. And this has T-tracks in the bed rail. So that will allow me to install the bed rack that I just unopened earlier. I want to flip this over. Holy moly. All right, put this back down. I'm assuming this is the top. Yeah, it looks like it. It's got the logo right way up on the back side too. All right, here we go. So by the looks of this, this is the top cover that goes on the box that the cover rolls up into. So, yep, that's definitely it. All right, this out of the way, foam out of the way. Again, you know, going to be a lot of trash that I need to take care of somehow, somewhere. All right, box. Wow, this is a giant box. Look at this. Again, I'm assuming, you know, I know what assume does, but I think this is probably all the hardware, tools. I mean, if it comes with tools, I don't know if it does. This is a little damaged. Not too worried about that. All right, there we go. Lubricant oil. That is nice. I did see this on one of the videos that I watched online. It was a different brand, but they gave the same lubricant oil. So this goes in the rail once it's all assembled on the truck. Baggie with tools, caps, hardware, more screws and tools, more tools. These are the T-slot screws and blocks. Couple of, oh, these are the connectors. So these covers come with tubes that you connect to the bottom, 2 on the box, and I think there's 2 on the end of the rail as well. So those are drain tubes. So what you do is you connect that to the box and you find a hole in your bed somewhere. I think on my truck, the Frontier, there's 2 caps on the front side of the bed that that you can pop out and then you route it through there. In the back, I don't know, because it's a sprayed in liner. So if there are any holes, they probably covered those up. So I need to do some research on that, see if they exist. If not, just not going to use them. A couple of brackets. Very nice. 5 of those. Wait, why do I have 5? I would think that I would either have 4 or 6. Anyway, again, reading the manual is obviously advised to do in cases like this. That always helps. Put this back. Get this out of the way. All right, nice. So it even comes with tools. Sticker, and it says, clarification, we only ship 100% brand new product. Please check the notes below if you have any issues with the condition your item arrived in. We hope the clarification
would help you with understanding. Seemingly used condition, possibly happening during transit. Canister may have marks due to packed foam, not used, just possibly hard-pressed foam. Okay. Cover may look dirty. There's lubricating oil inside the item. Excessive oil may come out, causing the dirty look. Not an issue, just some pre-applied oil. So, all right. Thanks for clarification. All right, let me go. I'm just gonna tear this. Oh, maybe I should not have done that. Okay, this is the actual canister. Okay. I'll try to get that one out. Oh, see? You gotta be careful at my age and break your neck and trip over and break a hip somehow. This thing is huge. All right. Put this, okay. All right. There we go. There's the canister. I'm assuming, yeah. So this is the front end that goes on top of the bed there, on the front end of the bed. Got foam everywhere. Now it looks really nice. And it does look indeed a little dirty. Like they said, it's the oil probably leaking out. So once everything's said and done, we'll have to clean that up, obviously. You got some foam that obviously goes in the front end as well, where this sits on the header of the bed. So at least I'm, pretty sure that goes there. Get that out of the way. Nicely packaged. There's the manual and the tubes. Like I said before, these are the drain tubes that go in the unit and drain. Looks like there's two different sizes. Maybe not, maybe it's the same size. And then the manual, obviously. Get this out. Again, I'm gonna move that out of the way. Yep, installation guide. They also have, videos online as well, obviously, that show you. That is one thing that they did point out. There's a couple of blocks on here that are on the actual locks. They will have to be removed before you do anything. It seems like, that tends to be forgotten. They think it's like a cover of sorts or something like that, but that's not it. It's actually just protected during transportation, the locks. So nice, very clear, nice images on it. Yeah, not too bad. All right, let me get this out of the way. And it is getting hot. All right, there's nothing there. It looks like just one of the slats that they added in there. Basically, you have to use this as like a distance bar, right? So once you have this on the truck for clamping everything down and adjusting everything, you got to make sure that it's symmetrical sideways in the right position forward and aft. There's a small gap that needs to remain between the end of cover and your tailgate. So that's got to be adjusted. And then to make sure that it's parallel and the same width everywhere, you have this adjustment bar. You basically slide that into the track once it's on there and just move it around to make sure that you have the correct distance. So this is not an extra slat. It's actually the distance bar side as well. All right, and looks like there's one more box, and I'm assuming that those are the rails. So take these things out. I can probably use these later on to put on those sawhorses that I mentioned earlier, just to be able to get this, kind of level those rails out and make sure that everything is level at the same height when putting this together. All right. Last box, I'll put it this way. I mean, I really am impressed with how this looks. It's very nicely finished. And then last thing in the box, are a couple of seals. As you can see, they're rounded on top and flat on the bottom. But these basically slide into the T-slots on the rail so that once I get my bed rack on there, I can slide these in and kind of cover those rails as well. And that will also help prevent rain from coming into the rail. So those are the seals, and I think that's it. What I want to do is I'm going to get the boxes and the foam and stuff out of the way. I want to take everything out of the plastic, get it ready, and see if we can start putting this thing together. All the packing materials are gone. They're in the trash, and this is all the parts that are needed. So again, from front to back, we have the cover plate that goes on the canister. We have the canister with the roll-up cover. I'm just looking at that now. I'm actually pleasantly surprised with how small this thing is. I'd expect it to be like a lot higher or deeper. So I think once it's in the bed of the truck, and keep in mind, Mine is a Nissan Frontier Pro-4X 2025 model. So it's only a 5-foot bed, and I don't even think it's full 5 foot. It's like 59 inches or something like that. So I was afraid that I was going to lose a lot of space in my bed because of the canister, but I think it's probably not going to be too bad. It looks like it's, I don't know, maybe 10 inches total width-wise from the front, and then probably, I don't know, about the same depth, maybe 8-10 inches. So again, pleasantly surprised about that one. So that's a good thing. All right, moving on. We got the side rail. This is the one for the right-hand side. One for the left-hand side is obviously on the left-hand side. You can tell that it's the right side because of the rounded part. So the rounded part kind of matches with the bed, or the end of the bed of your truck, to kind of, coincide with that rounded area there. Then we got the tools and the hardware. Still a little curious about the bracket, and it may just be a spare one. So, but I'll find out. We got the seal that goes on the front side of the bed where the canister is going to sit. Oh, as I was unpacking everything, I noticed that they've done that nicely actually, and I got a free carabiner. So basically, the keys for the locks, because there's 2 locks here. So there's one here and one there, so you can basically lock it on both sides. But they attach it to the strap. There's a pull strap on the actual cover that you can obviously pull it closed, and they attach the keys to that. So that's one thing that I was kind of wondering about where that would be, and it turns out they just, clipped it to the strap and then wrapped it in plastic. So good. Got to keep those safe somewhere, so I have them on my car key. Installation guide, again, very nicely. A lot of these Chinese things, I'm assuming this is made in China too. They just have like really crappy manuals. This looks really nice. It's well laid out. It's clear. The images, the pictures are very clear. That should not be an issue. So I'm an aerospace engineer. We write manuals all the time as well. So I'm always critical about manuals, especially if they're from China, and then the grammar and the spelling is, way off. But again, pleasantly surprised. We got the bag with the tubes. Still trying to figure out where I'm going to put the back tubes in there. I may just leave them off. Again, if I use the seals, which are these in the T-tracks, I may not even need the tubes in the back. I'm just going to do the front because I know there's opening for that one. And then finally, distance bar. So that's it for now. I'm gonna make sure that I have all the parts. We'll look at the manual, then we're gonna install this. For now, this is the unboxing of the bed rack and the cover. The installation of both will be a later video. So if you wanna see how it looks and how it is installed and the final product, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. Oh, and leave a comment down below as, what are you most interested in seeing? Are you interested in the cover? Or are you interested in the bed rack itself? Or both? Interested to find out. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for tuning in, listening to me rambling about this, and hearing my knees crack. And like I said, in the next video, I'll be installing this. And so until then, thank you for tuning in, and doei!